Science 1102. This is Professor Julie Goddard coming at you from the Goddard-Nugent Test Kitchen. I just want to show you how awesome my mise en place is. I'm getting better every time at figuring out how to do these videos. We've got all of our ingredients portioned and labeled. We've got my 2 pages of instructions up, my formulation, my kind of guide for what I'm going to do here in the test kitchen. You got to see this as a lab experiment where you got to prepare, figure out your materials, your methods, and have everything you might need for the experiment before you get started. And so that's what I've done here today. So I've got all my materials, I've got all my pots and pans here set out. I'm going to show that to you in a separate zoom in here. And let's get started. So today we're going to make a crystalline confection, one where you have many tiny crystals. We're not looking for big rock candy here. We want controlled crystal formation so that they're tiny, so that they're not gritty. And you guessed it, we're making a fondant. So fondants can be used to go around baked goods, but in this case, we're going to use it as kind of like the inner filling of a truffle. If anybody has peppermint patties, junior mints, these kinds of things. Now, how are we controlling crystallization? That's something you always want to be thinking of when you're thinking of sugar-based confections. How are we controlling crystallization to occur where and when and how we want it? So in this case, we're using a combination of chemistry, ingredient functionality, and processing. So I want you to think about, as we go through the steps here, what is controlling crystallization so that we have many, many, many small crystals of sugar, of sucrose in our final fondant. Now today we're going to go with a mint-flavored fondant. And here we go. All right, so we had a couple things happen that are very, very sad, right, Kai? You don't look so sad because you like these errors because it means you get to have more tasters. First of all, I totally overcooked it. I overshot it. I didn't want to undershoot it because if your temperature is not high enough, you will be kneading that sugar mixture forever and you're never going to get a good crystallization. But what I did is I overshot. I went a little too high, and in doing so, I drove up too much water. So that beautiful, or what looked like a beautiful bunch of fondant down there, ended up being this kind of, now it's just a couple minutes later,
Test that one.
crumbly mess. The other thing I did is, I did it in 2 parts. Just 1 second, buddy. Can you just let me talk to my class here for a sec? So my little marble slab here was too small to do all of it at once. So I poured out half of it, and you see what that ended up looking like. Then I put the other half out, and it couldn't have been just a couple minutes later. But look at what happens. Because I hadn't cleaned my my marble slab properly, so there was already a little bit of sugar crystals formed on the marble slab. Very quickly after starting to really work the fondant, it just seized right up with a whole bunch of very large crystals. And you can actually taste, texture-wise, it's much grainier, this one here. Yes, you may try this. Come on.
More.
No, he doesn't mind it, but it doesn't have the same texture that we're looking for. So we're going to try this again.